Seriously, have you seen the news lately? Or more importantly, taken a moment to digest it? The top general in the US military was so concerned his commander-in-chief might order a nuclear attack on China that he called his Chinese counterpart in the People's Liberation Army twice in secret to assure him it would not happen. And if it did, he would send him advance warning. Say what? So, all this is in the latest book by Bob Woodward, one of America's most trusted journalists, a species on the brink of extinction these days. He writes that General Mark Milley secretly called General Li Zuo-cheng of the PLA because he was worried that his boss, Donald Trump, US president at the time, had become unhinged enough to start World War III. The first time was at the end of October last year, just before the election that Trump lost. Then a second time, in January this year, right after Trump supporters stormed the US Capitol in a bid to overturn the election result. If we're going to attack, I'm going to call you ahead of time. It's not going to be a surprise. We are not going to have a fight, Woodward quotes Milley as saying. To which Lee replies, okay, I'll take you at your word. Where do you even begin to unpack and process this? Firstly, as safe and smug as we may feel in our little lives, are we that close to Armageddon, our collective existence at the mercy of one petulant old man in Washington wielding the power to extinguish our lives just like that? Secondly, did America's top military commander commit an act of treason and sedition by offering to leak a top-secret decision of that magnitude and impact to a nation he considers the enemy? His detractors and defenders can argue about it until the end of days, but this ever-widening rift between China and the Western world poses a clear and present danger to all of us around the globe. And America and its allies are ramping up the provocation, or deterrence if you take their word for it, to levels that should frighten all of us, really. Just take a look at this new security pact the US, Britain and Australia have announced to take on China. Three Western powers that have a history of joining forces to wage catastrophic war on some weaker country or the other, time after time. Three countries that have bombed, beaten and bloodied Afghanistan for 2 decades before leaving it to the wolves. These same three countries are now upping the ante to counter the threat allegedly posed by a nation that has not waged war like them for over 3 decades and still counting. This is not opinion, this is stating simple facts. But point them out to the Western Crusader Mafia and you get shouted down and cancelled. Such is the state of free speech in their great democratic dystopia. You know what's even more disconcerting than all of this? Everyone's ability to shrug it off like it doesn't really affect them. We all just move on to the next news cycle. And for now, especially in the US, it's all about rapper Nicki Minaj and a recent tweet she sent out that has America transfixed. This was the crux of her earth-shattering tweet. Be careful about getting vaccinated for COVID-19 because her cousin's friend developed swollen testicles that prompted his fiancée to call off their wedding. That's where the global discourse is at the moment. Never mind how close we may have come to nuclear war or how close we still are because, you know, Nicki Minaj.